The F in fired stands for freedom. You are free of any obligations or regulations put against you, put for you. You are now the boss of your life. Instead of viewing your job loss as something to mourn, I think it's something to celebrate. I don't know if you could hear all of that rain coming through, but it has been said rain has been an omen for new beginnings and positive changes to come. If I could just encourage one person, because this is what I needed to hear the many times that I've been fired. Okay, but we gonna get into it. Job loss in this economy, no matter what time you're watching this video, is devastating, especially if you have a family, you have children, you have a spouse. So many things rely on you. Maybe you don't know why you even got fired, and that is pretty common as well. Some people, they will get fired and they'll be told for performance issues. Some people would be fired because of the politics of it all. That is even more devastating. I'm just here to comfort you, to say it was not your fault. Even if you got fired for something that you did, it's not even necessarily your fault, because we are all human. A lot of these jobs expect us to be like robots. People joke and say, oh, we're gonna be replaced by AI soon. I mean, yeah, maybe, but AI doesn't have the warmth and the compassion and the empathy as a human. You are destined for so much more. You are destined for a greatness that cannot be quantified by how many hours you clock in. You are going to be a lot more significant somewhere else. Whether you decide to start your career with another company or decide to do entrepreneurship, just know that no matter what, this does not dictate your worth. The very, very first time I ever got fired, I was working at this accounting firm. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was showing up to work miserable. I guess it was just so obvious. I would cry at my cubicle. I would not want to eat lunch with anybody. Like, I was just devastated. But when Friday hit, oh, I was happy again. I was so happy again. It's so toxic. The manager at the time, she saw what I was feeling, what I was doing, and apparently my performance was also not really matching their standards. So eventually I was fired. It felt like someone shot me in the chest with a gun. This was my first big girl job. I was making good money for the first time ever. The inner child in me, the overachiever, could not understand that I was rejected by something. This is coming from someone who's never even gotten an F before. So I'm hearing that I'm fired, that I can't come back, that I have to return everything, that I'm actually fired right after work. They're like, don't even bother coming in tomorrow. I blamed myself for a long time. I thought that I was worthless. I thought that I did everything wrong and that I wasn't good enough. That's why I was fired. I kind of allowed it to spiral me for like a couple days, versus the last time that I was fired. I did feel sad, and my inner child felt sad again. It's, you know, that achievement wound is what I call it, where you want to overachieve and be a perfectionist to prove your worth, so you kind of overcompensate in academia. The last time I was fired, I definitely felt like that. My inner child was shattered, but the adult me held it together, and I was very poised. As an adult, I've realized that my worth is not in my achievements. My worth is not in my ability to do something for someone else. My worth relies with me. Whether someone wants to employ me or not, that has nothing to do with my capabilities or the trajectory of my life. The best way that I found moving forward is that you have to plan immediately. The first time I lost my job, and it was like I felt completely blindsided and I didn't know what to do, blah blah blah. I decided to sulk in my bed for days. Not to say that you can't feel your feelings, but I would put a cap on that. The faster and the sooner and the quicker that you move, the better your outcome could be. Versus one of the last times I got fired, I definitely felt my feelings, but within that same day, I started to plan my next moves. I also just want to tell you that you don't have to be completely ready to move forward. You don't necessarily have to do any steps, but I would recommend at least thinking about them. At the end of the day gonna end. I hate to say it like that, but that's essentially what we've been seeing. We saw what happened with the healthcare CEO. He literally was shot in cold blood at 6 in the morning. That investment meeting still happened. The job listing for his job open, and you know, life moves on. I would set up how you're going to pay your bills moving forward, at least for like a 3-month span. As we know, jobs are not as easy to come as they were before, and a lot of people are not getting employed as fast. If you feel like you need to turn off your auto pay, do it. I wouldn't recommend it for your necessities. I might turn off auto pay for, say, like subscriptions. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying what I would do. But what I've noticed is every time I was fired, I was given an opportunity that was better, Because for a lot of us, when we get fired, yeah, we may not have known it was coming, but how many of us are really thriving at work? How many of us are really in a job where we're passionate about it? Some of us are, but a lot of us aren't. I feel like a good 10% of people are in the job that they love and they're passionate about and they would really die for it. For the rest of us, it's for a paycheck. It's to pay our bills. It's to be an NPC, for lack of better words. You show up, you do the work, you go home. I would say reframing what has happened to you is going to be the best way to deal with this moving forward. So instead of saying I got fired, you should say I got freed. It has freed you to try to figure out what exactly it is you are passionate about. If you were let go of something you weren't passionate about, was it really a loss? And for those of you that feel like you did lose a job that you're passionate about, okay, well, reevaluate what that even looks like. I had a job in film. Yes, that is the field that I want, but it still wasn't the job that I wanted. When it ultimately ended, it felt bittersweet because it's like, okay, now this gives me time to reevaluate, all right, what would I accept or not accept ever again? Mental health is very important here. And if you don't have a therapist, there are a lot of resources for individuals to get health care, but there are discrepancies. Another really good thing about now is it tests your faith and diligence heavily. While searching for a job unemployed is like the worst thing, it feels like mentally and maybe even emotionally for some people, it can be a stepping stone for a lot more success than you realize. We are in a digital age and everything is shifting. Maybe you don't even need a job at a desk. Maybe you don't even need a job. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? A lot of things seem like they are, but they are not. It is totally different when you take a leap versus you being pushed off the ledge. When you're fired, you're pushed off the ledge. When you jump, there's adrenaline, you're having fun probably, and you chose that. When you're pushed off a ledge, you are frightened. You are now in fight or flight, and it's like you're free falling and there's nothing you can do about it. Eventually, you're gonna have to land. You're either gonna land on your feet like a cat, or maybe you got snagged on a branch, or whatever it is. You can figure out how you're gonna fall. Either way, you're going to land. The first day that you wake up without your job is the hardest. Yeah, that's going to be really difficult, but instead of seeing it like that, you can see it like, now today is the first day I get to do whatever I want. How am I structuring my day? How can I schedule it to be productive and still be able to move in the positive, right direction, the new beginning that I deserve? I know there is no words that can really describe what it feels like to be fired and accept it with a smile, but that is what you're called to do. You are made to think that it's over, but it's really a chance at a new beginning that you can create. If you like this video, want to see more videos, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you. Bye.